Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Calvin Tobin Show. I am your host, Calvin Tobin. Today we have a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. All right, the new league year for the NFL has officially started, and it started yesterday. But before the new league year even started, there has been all kinds of chaos across the NFL, because across the NFL we have seen 45 new signings, trades, and cuts. And out of all of what has transpired, the biggest trades that we have seen is the New York Giants trading a third-round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders for Darren Waller. And the other big trade we saw is the Miami Dolphins trading a third-round pick and tight end Hunter Long to the Los Angeles Rams for Jalen Ramsey. And the biggest signings that we have seen is the Atlanta Falcons signing Jesse Bates to a 4-year, $64 million contract. And the other big contract we saw is the San Francisco 49ers signing Javon Hargrave to a 4-year, $84 million contract. Now, the biggest players that we have seen cut is or the biggest ones are the Philadelphia Eagles releasing Darius Slay and Javon Hargrave, and the Dallas Cowboys releasing Ezekiel Elliott. Now, out of all 45 signings, trades, and players cut, and what all these teams have gotten in new players and new signings, here are my biggest winners and losers over the past week, over this new offseason signing. And my winners are the Carolina Panthers, the Miami Dolphins, and the New York Giants. The reason for the Carolina Panthers is because they upgraded on both their offense and defense, stealing a couple players from the Cincinnati Bengals by signing their tight end Hayden Hurst and signing one of their cornerbacks, Von Bell. The reason that Miami is one of the biggest winners is, like I just said, they traded for Jalen Ramsey. And last year, the Miami Dolphins defensive points allowed per game was 24th in the NFL, and Jalen Ramsey is going to help shrink that down. And while he is doing that, he is most likely going to help put the Miami Dolphins in playoff talks of next year, as long as Tua Tagovailoa stays healthy, to bring the Dolphins to that playoff. And easily out of all of what's happened, the biggest winner is the New York Giants in getting Darren Waller, because last year, or going into this year, the New York Giants are coming off their first winning season since 2016, and what they have done is improved for the future. They have their guy and their head coach in Brian DeBoll, and they just secured their quarterback in Daniel Jones by signing into a 4-year, $160 million contract. And now Daniel Jones has a top-tier receiver to help balance out the offense through passing and running with Saquon Barkley. Now, with what the New York Giants have going into next year, the Giants offense is going to start becoming an offense that is going to be looked forward to watching, because the main reason is Brian DeBoll has improved Daniel Jones' passing game by getting him to eliminate most of the turnovers of what he has created for himself in previous years, because Daniel Jones only threw 5 interceptions last year. And if the Giants could do what they did last year with Saquon Barkley and getting 9 games and getting to the playoffs, with the addition of Darren Waller, the New York Giants are going to start becoming a team that is going to be talked about in playoff contention talks. Now, out of the past week and a half, my biggest losers are the Philadelphia Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are losers because they released Eric Kendricks and Adam Thielen. Eric Kendricks and now plays for the Los Angeles Chargers, but with both Adam Thielen and Eric Kendricks, both of these guys were a big factor in why they went 13-4 last year. But the biggest loss out of these two is releasing Adam Thielen, because Adam Thielen was a good number 2 receiver to Justin Jefferson, and that offense was dominant with those two at the forefront. And because now Adam Thielen is no longer a Viking, the pressure on Justin Jefferson, just got a lot easier for NFL defenses to double cover him most of the game, which is going to backfire on the Vikings to be able to continuously move down the field because Dalvin Cook can only do so much in the backfield. Now, with the Philadelphia Eagles, the reason that they are losers is because they released two key players in their dominant defense from last year. And who they released was Darius Slay and Javon Hargrave, but they did keep Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham. But both of these guys are on the back end of their careers, especially Brandon Graham, as he is 34 years old. But with losing Darius Slay and Javon Hargrave, these guys were such big pieces because Javon Hargrave was one of 4 players on that defense that got 11 sacks or more, and was part of the reason on why the Philadelphia Eagles had the best defensive front in the NFL last year. And with releasing Darius Slay, he was one of the league team leaders in sacks in having 55. So now it's going to be even easier for teams to throw on that defense. But here's the thing. What is that Eagles defense going to look like with these two gone? Because the Eagles can pick up somebody in the draft this year, and because there's a lot of fresh faces that the Philadelphia Eagles have a chance at getting and improving their defense, even though that they had the best defense last year. But while the new league year for the NFL is just getting started, the NBA regular season is just about wrapped up because we are now 72 games into the season with 10 games left to go, depending on the team. And so far, we have a couple close battles in both the East and the West. In the West, there's a race for the second seed with the Memphis Grizzlies and the Sacramento Kings, as they both are tied with a record of 41-27. And then in the East, there's a race between the second, third, and fourth seed, which is the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And all these teams are within 3 games of each other. And so between these 3, depending on how they play out their schedule, there's going to be potentially a lot of back and forth flipping between where they're going to land before the playoffs even get started. But here's the thing, 2 of these guys played last night, and that was the Philadelphia 76ers facing the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Philadelphia 76ers came out with the victory, beating the Cavaliers 118-109, with their MVP candidate, Joel Embiid, leading the way with a stat line of 36 points, 18 rebounds, and 4 blocks. And what happened in this game? This game gave us a little taste on what could happen in the playoffs if these two faced each other. And based on what happened with the 76ers, their trio of James Harden, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey was all that they needed in this game, especially on the scoring part, because these 3 guys combined for 86 of the 118 points that were scored in this game. And Joel Embiid started off that scoring domination by scoring 24 of his 36 points in that first half, and scoring 24 of the 76ers' 55 first half points. And alongside him in that first half, his teammate James Harden was helping that offensive firepower flourish because he was helping opening up the passing game for Philadelphia. But here's the thing. That Cavaliers fast break offense kept the 76ers in check at times during the game, and that's what helped them sustain their lead by finding the holes in Philadelphia's defense and getting them to commit turnovers at certain points, which then led to points. But here's the thing. The 76ers defense stepped up when it mattered, filling the holes in the gap in Cleveland's fast break offense, which then helped them create turnovers and have the Cavaliers continuously lose the ball, which then helped lead the 76ers to having a fast break offense of their own, which then gave the 76ers the victory, improving their record to 48-22. And because of Philadelphia winning this game, they are now the 6th team this year to win their 20th game on the road. And they gave Cleveland something that has been very rare for them, which is a loss at home. And now the Cleveland Cavaliers have a home record of 28-8. All right, that's the end of the Calvin Tobin Show. Please subscribe to my channel at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports media. And please follow me on Instagram at Calvin Tobin Show so you don't miss out on any sports news whatsoever. And